Hi everyone, it's Anna. Today I'm doing things a bit differently because I'm visiting my mother-in-law in Cairns in Australia. As you can see, beautiful surroundings. And this video is going to be a short one and it's going to be highly unedited. So if I start screaming, it's because I'm in the Australian tropics and there are so many huge insects around, so don't be alarmed. So today I wanted to do a short video discussing the dangers of social media because just in the last week I've seen 3 posts that really made me so angry, to be honest. And it's related to the videos that I did about cognitive distortions and specifically black and white thinking. You know, like I've seen such a pandemic, especially in parenting, of black and white thinking. This idea that, we can't hold 2 perspectives at the same time, or that only one thing is true. And, the reality is that one thing can mean and be so many different things for different people. So I actually wanted to give you specific examples of the posts that I saw this week, just so you know what I mean and so you can understand. So the first one that made me so angry was this. Why is it so hard to ask for help? Because our little childhood voices that asked for help so many times were often ignored, minimized, even punished, when the way we asked for help was not calm, respectful, and polite. And I repeat, when the way we asked for help was not calm, respectful, and polite. Oh my God. So we have become this generation that is so obsessed with childhood trauma. And I get it. There's been so much research about the concept of secure attachment, neuroscience, they all point at the fact that yes, childhood trauma and what happened to us in childhood really can affect us in adulthood. But the thing is, we can't blame our parents for everything. When you read something like that, it actually will make you fall into the trap of perfectionism parenting. Because when you read something like that, you're going to be thinking, oh my God, like I can't even correct my child when they don't speak to me nicely. Otherwise, they're going to grow up into someone who can't even ask for help. How ridiculous is this? It's not the case at all. And let's also not forget that it's not about just what happened to us in childhood with our parents. There's just so much conditioning that happens because of the society we live in. The reason why you may not be able to ask for help is because you lived in a society where, if you're a woman, you saw women being portrayed as this self-sacrificing mother who is meant to do everything for her children and forfeit her own needs. And that's when you were watching movies, reading books, or watching your own mom doing that. Or if you're a man, it might be because you grew up in a society where the man is supposed to be the provider and is supposed to be strong and independent and not ask for help. So it's not just about our parents. And the thing is, because we are parents ourselves now, it's very dangerous to read things like this on social media, because then you're going to be thinking that you're failing at everything. When what we're asking of parents is actually this concept of good enough parenting. And I will be doing a video soon on this because it's such an important research that has been done, where it's not about perfect parenting. It's about trying your best every day and growing with your children and trying different things. I mean, if you're a nurturing parent and you respond calmly 80% of the time, it doesn't matter what you do the other 20% of the time. So don't be so hard on yourself and be very mindful when you read things like this. Another one that I read as well is about guilt, and it said this: there's no such thing as mom guilt, it's just guilt. And it was formed when you felt guilty for your existence as a child. Okay, so here I just want to say that, the problem with social media, and I love social media, obviously I'm on there as well, and it's an amazing platform, to connect with people and to get a lot of information for free. But what you have to realize with social media is that it's fast information. So the context is basically lost. And whatever someone posts in this very short post that you're reading is coming through their lens, based on whatever happened to them in their life. So I'm actually guessing that these 2 examples that I'm giving you are coming from people who actually had quite difficult childhood trauma. Maybe they grew up in a in a home where they were neglected, with neglect. So when you read these through that lens, then you can understand that, okay, like I understand what they mean. But I mean, I didn't grow up in neglect. I grew up with a lot of issues in a dysfunctional family as well, so I know childhood trauma as much as anyone. But when I read this, all I can see is the trap of black and white thinking that if you don't do parenting perfectly, your child is not going to grow up fine. He's not going to grow up into the emotionally mature and secure adults that you want them to be. And there's another one that I saw as well that was very problematic to me, and it's this. Secure attachment, well, actually it's probably better if I show you because it's crossed out. So you can see it says, sleep training is a gift we give our children, and then it's crossed out and it says no, secure attachment. Okay, so I've got a lot of issues with this one. First of all, sleep training does not mean crying it out. It's two different things. Crying it out is obviously something we shouldn't be doing, but sleep training can be very gentle. So that's the distinction that you really need to make. And second of all, secure attachment. I mean, how can you say that if you sleep train your child gently, it means that they're not going to be securely attached to you? This is such bullshit. I'm sorry. But there's different things that you need to understand with sleep training. The first one is that if your child is not ready to sleep, if he doesn't have the skill to sleep yet, to sleep through the night, then no amount of sleep training will change that. Sometimes you try everything and nothing works, and that's just because your child is not ready. The second thing though is that some children, some babies really benefit from sleep training. I've seen this around me where there's 12 months old or 10 months old baby who actually have developed sleep association with the bottle or the breast or the dummy, and they end up waking up at every sleep cycle, so every 40 minutes, because they can't link their sleeps because they've associated the need to, for that dummy or for that bottle to fall back asleep. And actually, when you gently sleep train your child at around 12 months or 10 months, when you realize that there's a problem, it really benefits your child. It's a gift because, I mean, everyone needs sleep. We've become the society who glamorizes not sleeping. And I know that, we're doing it for mindset because, it can be very helpful to see on social media that it's normal for babies not to sleep, and, when you're really struggling, like, it really helps you. But sometimes you actually need to do something about it because, not everyone can function on 2 hours of sleep a night. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm the kind of person who gets really affected by sleep. So the purpose of this video today is to ask you, when you go on social media and read these very short, fast bits of information, just be very mindful and always bring it back to your own values. And that's why I did a video on the importance of setting up family values, and I'll try to put the link up there. Because whenever you read information and it triggers you, or there's something wrong, there's something wrong about it, just go back to your values. Is this true? Does this actually feel true to you, feel true to your family and what you want, your long-term goal? And if it doesn't, just ignore it. And also remember, like I said, that all this information is always written from the person's perspective. So we don't know whatever happened to them, but if it's a childhood trauma expert, for example, of course everything they're going to be writing is going to be because of childhood trauma. It's going to be something about childhood trauma. So let's step back and get a bit of perspective and remember that not everything is childhood trauma. We can't blame our parents for everything. Sleep training does not mean crying it out. It doesn't mean that your child is not going to be securely attached. So let's try to remember that there's no one truth. One thing can be so different from one family to another, and that's why you should always come back to your own values. So that's it for today. This is the black and white thinking pandemic that I've been discussing. Be very mindful of what you consume on social media because it can really affect your mental health, and it can be very detrimental to you and your family. You're doing nothing wrong. You're trying your best every day And remember that a lot of compassion for yourself is the only way to make meaningful changes for your family and your children. Thanks for watching and keep growing.